Hi, I'm Hallie, and I want to welcome you to the Odd Life Podcast. That's spelled AWED, which stands for Awake, Well, and Empowered. In this space, you will hear inspirational stories, candid and heartfelt conversations, as well as advice from experts, all with the intention of helping women like you live odd AF. Because I believe the more of us that live awake, well, and empowered, the better this world will be. So thank you for being here and welcome to your odd life. Hey, everybody, welcome back. I'm so happy to see you. By the time you're watching this, I'm probably back from Portugal, but I've got to gather my thoughts and put things together to share in the next episode. But here I am. I'm a little behind on the content for that, but I'll be sharing that here soon. Until then, I want to talk about something that's really cool that's happening in my life right now with my kids. And I'm telling you all this because you may be someone that has younger kids or kids that are still in high school, or maybe that first one's just gone off to college. I want to share something that's really cool right now. It's that open nest era. I have 3 adult children, basically. I've got a 19-year-old, an almost 23-year-old, an almost 26-year-old. And it's the 23 and 26 that have come and gone out of the nest quite a bit. I mean, one just got done with college, so he's been home every summer and every break for the most part. And he's home right now post-college. He's still finishing up a couple classes, so he'll graduate in December. So he's just finishing up, and he is sort of on hold. He's hoping to get picked up by a team to play semi-pro baseball, which we're doing all the visualization and all the things for that, because that's his dream. And my daughter, she's almost 26. She lives in Omaha right now working for a company, and she's able to have a lot of flexibility and come and go. And so she'll pop home for a week or 2 at a time. If there's nothing going on, events that she has to attend, then she'll come home and hang out with us and see her brothers and go watch them play baseball and all of that. It's such a cool thing to have your kids come and go and want to be around you. That's the thing. That's what's happening right now, is they want to be around us. And that's all that we could ever ask for at this point. Because, for so long, you're taking care of them, you're feeding them, you're clothing them, you're driving them to all the things, staying up late until they get home from their friend's house. And then that goes away when they're all gone. It's only been a year for us, 9 months really. But to have them under our roof again, even for a little bit of time, has been so fun because we have different conversations now. It's not parenting them. It's really just being with them and allowing them to be exactly who they are. All of this stuff that really wasn't available to us yet when they were younger because they weren't there yet. They hadn't had enough life experience. They were still in the middle of trying to figure themselves out, doing the school stuff. And now that 2 of them are out of that, for the most part, it's really cool to hang with them. For example, my daughter, she will come home for a week at a time randomly. And we do a lot of things together, her and I, because we like the same stuff. We like finding the cute local coffee shop. We like finding the cute little boutique. We'll drive around a cool neighborhood for an hour after we get our fun little coffee. We don't have to be doing a whole lot, honestly. It's just we have certain things that we like to do. We've gone to play pickleball together. We laugh a lot there, but we also have great conversations. Then there's other things too with her and I. Some crazy things that happen, synchronicities, I should say. For example, she played college soccer. So one day when I knew they were leaving, I was thinking, I wonder if the team bus has left town yet. Really no big deal. I had nothing to talk to her about. I just was curious. It popped in my head. And I'm not kidding you, less than a minute, maybe 30 seconds later, I get a text from her saying, hey, we're leaving town finally. And then she had some story that somebody forgot the bag, they had to go pick up the bag and yada, yada. But I was just thinking that. And she texted me 30 seconds later. And another time on Instagram, she sent me a message, a DM, and said, Mom, I just posted the same thing you just posted. And I know that we tend to see a lot of the same things because that's how the algorithm works and show you what the people that you follow like. And I looked at the timestamp, and sure enough, it was the exact same time I reshared it in my stories that she did too. It was crazy because, my daughter is usually the first circle that pops up on my Instagram stories. So she's first on my page, and I guess I'm first on hers. She looks at a lot of my stuff quickly. So she must have seen that I shared something and looked at it, and she's like, oh my God, I just shared the same thing. So we have such a connection between the things we like, and literally we pop in each other's heads all the time. I'll be texting her something and she's like, I was just texting you about that same thing. So that happens all the time. So I'm not surprised that we have a great time together the other day. She came home, she's like, hey, I just saw this girl share some stuff on TikTok about all the things she did in Kansas City. Let's go have a date. So we went to this cute coffee shop called Penrose. It's downtown Kansas City, like Crossroads area. Had a latte, sat and had a great conversation about, I don't even know what it was, just all the things. And then we drove over to Bella Patina, which is in the West Bottoms area. That is a 3-story, like vintage clothing, vintage furniture, secondhand goods, grandma and grandpa's wedding pictures, grandma's wedding dress. Like there's all kinds of crazy stuff there. Lighting, furniture, books, home decor, tables, chairs, old cameras. And we walked through there for about an hour, checking things out. We bought a couple things. Then we went to get a poke bowl at a place we used to have close to us at home here. The only location is now downtown. So we went grab some lunch. Again, liking the same things, which is fantastic. Then we went over to another little shopping area called Brookside. It's called Crestwood Village, little strip of cute shops. Just walked around, hung out. That's what I'm talking about. Like, that's the kind of stuff I'm loving right now because she gets what I want to do and I get what she wants to do. And she actually pushes me to get out of the house because I can easily just putz around here, do podcast stuff, editing, writing, go to the gym. Every day kind of looks the same. And she's really pushing me to get out and about. It's helpful when it's with somebody else. To go by myself sometimes to go do this is okay, but it's nice to go with somebody else. So she pushes me to do that. And I love that. And we have great conversations when we're together doing this stuff. It's almost like the conversation's the main thing. And doing these things are just facilitating those conversations. So absolutely loving that. And then yesterday, I was sitting outside in my driveway. It was beautiful out. I'm editing a podcast episode. And my son goes, I'm going to come out and join you because it's so nice out. He grabs a chair, brings his laptop out, intending to do some classwork. And the next thing you know, he starts talking. And then he asked me a question or two, and then I answer, and then I ask him a question. And next thing you know, we're talking about college, about high school. And when he talks, he gets up and paces. For some reason, it makes his mind works better when he's walking around. So he's walking and just pacing around the yard now in front of me, talking. He'll stand for a second and then he'll keep walking. Like, fine, whatever keeps you talking, you go for it. So I'm just listening to him and he's sharing things he's never shared with me before, like things he did in high school, things about college that I hadn't heard yet. And then he then asked me some questions and we were able to have this really adult conversation. That was almost 2 hours. That's never happened. If you've got boys, it's pretty rare to have one that likes to talk. So not that he loves to talk, but he opened up. It was awesome. And of course, this is when they're off doing their own thing. They're adults. They're off doing their jobs and living their lives. And it's the time you want to spend the most with them because you're not parenting 24/7. You're just hanging with them. They're bringing their personalities into it. They're almost fully developed people at this point, and they are who they are. And you love hanging with them. And it's so freaking cool because, like I said, for so long, you're constantly parenting and no, you can't do that. Yes, you can. Let's get going. Got to get to practice. Like all of the rigmarole of parenting, it pays off because we are at the point now where we love hanging out with our older kids. The 19-year-old's still up for debate. Oh my gosh. Like the frontal lobe is still growing. Logic, decision making sometimes is still not quite there, but we're getting there. That's what college is for, to go make all the mistakes and figure things out the hard way. That's their journey. And they can come to us for guidance, but that's kind of their time to figure out how they want to handle situations. And it's funny, you look forward to being an empty nester after all the years of parenting. And then when they come back, it's the best. It's the best. Like you always want them to come back and hang out with you, always. And I don't really have advice here, just the fact that all that you're going through as a young parent, the one thing I can say is show up as a safe place for them where they can be heard, not shushed, not told to do it this way and that's it. I felt that as a kid. I felt unseen, unheard. They didn't want to hear from me. They didn't want my opinion as a kid. I want my kids to have their own personality. I want them to learn about themselves. And I think the only way to really allow them to become the person they're supposed to be is if you allow them to express themselves fully and hear them and be a safe place for them to just offer emotional support when needed. Because right now, I think our older two for sure know exactly who they are. And There was a time when our youngest, he was a talker. Like, it's funny, the first 3 years of his life, mute, and then all of a sudden started talking all the time. Energy, always going. And I caught my husband a couple times going, dude, can you just be quiet for a little bit? Like, stop talking. I'm like, no, you let him be, because that's who he is. Let him be exactly who he is. That's him. Nobody wants to be shushed and not heard. And if it means you have to sit there while your ears bleed because they're talking so much, you do that. Because someday, as they get a little older, they're not going to want to talk because they're the angsty teenager, and you got to let them do that as well. I think the biggest takeaway I have, I think, as a parent is always allowing them to feel seen and heard, and not trying to change them or mold them into something that was a miniature version of us or the direction we thought they should go. And we've given guidance, because sometimes there's fears and there's the unknowing of the future, and they start to pull back. The one thing I'll say is we're definitely encouraging parents, like, no, go do the thing. You can do this. Don't hold back. Don't take the safe route. This is the time to take the risks. You are young and you can bounce back easily. But they come home and they feel safe enough to share things with us. And I think we all want that. We want a place where we feel safe in our lives. I know it wasn't always like that. When the kids were little, I wasn't eating right, wasn't treating my body good. We drank a lot when the kids were young. Everybody did. That was it. Like, you didn't do anything without alcohol. And I know my weekends, I was exhausted because I had hung over and didn't get enough good sleep, and we're chasing kids to baseball games and soccer games and all that stuff. And so I know I was running on fumes a lot. And when I'm running on fumes, there's no way I could show up as a good parent. No chance. And that's probably one of my bigger regrets, is that I didn't become more aware of what I was doing back then. I wanted to show up for my kids and be present and be a role model for them. So a lot of things that I did, whether it's eating healthy, taking toxins out of our house, I was always thinking about the kids, and I wanted them to want those same things for themselves. I wanted them to get away from the junk food and the soda and the shitty habits kids have a lot of times, and we just allow it. And if I can change and do things differently now as an adult, now that they're paying a little more attention, better late than never at this point. And I'm so happy that they are so much further along in life and their maturity and what they're seeing for their lives than I ever was at their age. Like I said, for all of you that have young kids that you're still dealing with the everyday shit, the one thing I can say is think about down the road when you have the open nest. You want them to have a great relationship with you. So what seeds can you plant now for that to happen, to make them feel like your home is a safe place? Not that you don't have rules and boundaries. That's important to have those, but you're a safe place to come when shit hits the fan. You listen without judgment. You give them the harsh truth of life, but also hold them tight and tell them you're not alone going through this. We'll get through this together. Yes, you made a mistake, or yes, you could have done better in this situation, but you're going to get through it, and we're going to be there with you to help you, not do it for you, but help you. And we'll be there to support you emotionally to help you get through it. And I don't really know there's a right formula to do this, but if you can think about what you want down the road, allow what you want down the road to impact how you parent today. And I wish I'd have done things differently when they were really little. I wish I was living how I lived in my 40s and 50s now, in my 20s and 30s. I can't go back in time. I can't change it, but I can show up now every day in a way that brings us closer together, that allows them to be seen and heard and loved and cared for and safe. And man, I'm telling you, it is a really fucking cool experience to have your kids come home and talk with you and hang with you. And it's been one of the most rewarding things as a parent now. Like my son told me yesterday, he said, if you weren't my parents, I'd still want to hang out with you. I think you're cool people. I was like, oh, thanks, buddy. Probably more his dad than me because they go fishing together and do that kind of stuff. But still, it's a really cool thing to hear your kids say. And, when your daughter wants to go on vacation with you, oh my God, thank God. I just keep trying to show up for them in a way that feels what I wanted and needed when I was younger. That's always sort of the guidance is, okay, what I didn't get, I'm going to try and be that for mine. Not to an extreme where it's the complete opposite, where I'm just constantly giving and saying, oh, yes, you're the best. And let's go do these things. And here, there's no boundaries. There's boundaries still. But I think when you look back and you think about what you needed when you were a young adult, how can you show up as a parent, no matter what age your kids are now, so that you can be that for them when they hit that young adult age? It's pretty freaking cool. I would love to hear about your experience. If you're an empty nester, what you're learning about your older kids. If you're a parent of young kids, come hang out, go to the Instagram post for this episode. Go to the comments, share what you're experiencing, what you're going through, what you're loving about being someone that has adult kids and you have an open nest too. Like, let's not let this stop here. This is just the beginning. I bring up a topic and I want to keep talking about it. So come hang out with me. I've got Substack chat that we can hang out and talk. I always ask a question or share something there. And then you're always welcome to DM me on Instagram, whether it's the Odd Life account or Hallie Sawyer. Either way, I don't care. I tend to share a lot of the same things in both of those accounts. But I want to keep the conversation going and feel like you have a place that you can express yourself and ask questions or to share your own experiences, whatever. That's what social media is supposed to be, is actually being social, not just scrolling and looking at people's highlight reels, right? We all do it. I've got a gazillion posts saved because that's something that I want to do or say or see or buy or have someday. But I also love, love, love conversation, whether it's in my direct messages or it's in the comments. I want that to be a positive place again, where you can feel connected to people. Okay. That's it for the week, you guys. Just want to talk about the open nest and how great it is. And if you've got young kids, something wonderful to look forward to, I promise. And it's worth working on now so that you have that later. Have a great week, you guys, and we'll talk to you soon. Thank you again for being here. I am so grateful for your time. And if you liked what you heard, please head to where you listen to podcasts, rate and reviews. Please share on Instagram, your social media channels, wherever else you go, so we can reach as many people as possible so they can meet these amazing women and hear these conversations. If you'd like to connect further, you can find me over at my website at HallieSawyer.com or on Instagram. I'm usually going to be at Hallie_Sawyer or The Odd Life, which is this podcast specific Instagram account. All right. Have a great day, everyone, and we'll see you soon.